quite a full deck there at the back. Alright then folks, I'll give this my best shot, okay? I'm not a professional tour guide, only a crew member here on board the boat, here for your safety and here to get you from point A to point B. So if I do get anything wrong, please feel free to keep it to yourselves. Now we're going to start the live commentary off with the bridge that we're just about to go under. It's the Waterloo Road Bridge, commonly called here in London as the Ladies' Bridge. As while the men were away fighting during World War II, the women stayed behind to rebuild London. And that bridge there, that was built using an 80% women workforce. And ladies, you will be pleased to know it even stands now still to this day, but that bridge there is the only bridge ever that's been made on time and under budget. So well done to the ladies. Over to your right, the stone building that's got the electronic board on the front of it. It's London's National Theatre and does get voted every year without fail as being London's most ugliest building. Now the area that it's located at, that's the South Bank, and that's the performing arts district here in London, and that's where you find your art galleries, your theatres and your concert halls. They do have street performers here as well, some lovely bars and restaurants along the South Bank. Now the South Bank, it starts at the London Eye, that ends all the way down at Tower Bridge. Now on the river wall over there to your right, you're going to see that green moss line there. That's an indicator of how high the tide can get on the River Thames. Now we have two flood tides where the tide floods into London from the North Sea, and two ebb tides where it ebbs back out of London to the North Sea as well. Now it will flood into London for 5 hours and ebb out to the North Sea for 7 hours. We are experiencing an ebb tide at the moment, so the water is all draining out to the North Sea. So then we have two flood tides and two ebb tides in a 24-hour period. A fall and rise of 6.5 to 7.5 metre tide here in London. Now over to your left, you're going to see the stone archway there. It's also got the silver griffins. Now that stone archway is Temple Arch. This is a boundary marker, ladies and gents. What it indicates is we're leaving the city of Westminster behind. We're now entering the City of London. The City of Westminster is a place of politics and royalty. The City of London is the smallest capital city in the world, ranging at just 1 square mile. The original name for the City of London, that was Londinium, and that come from when the Romans arrived here. Over to your right, the orange brick building with the tower on the top is the Oxo Tower, once where the famous Oxo Cube was once manufactured. Now home to the Harvey Nichols restaurant on top, which is one of the top 10 rated restaurants here in London. We do have some unaffordable housing in the middle and then a row of shops along the bottom. Now it's illegal to advertise on the banks of the River Thames, and it's a royal waterway. Oxo was taken to court for this matter. They said it's a complete coincidence that their branding ended up in that tower and does indeed light up red. Somehow they was awarded the case and have had over 70 years of free advertisement here on the River Thames. Over to the left, the stone building with a green tile roof, that's the old City of London School for Boys. It's no longer used as a school, now home to the wealthy American bank JP Morgan. That's their offices in that building today. The group of bridges we are now approaching are the group of Blackfriars bridges. We have the road bridge first and the rail bridge second. Now in between the two bridges there are some red columns here, and they span the river from left to right. These red columns are the foundations and supports of the very first railway bridge here in London. That was the St Paul's Railway Bridge. It was used by a steam train connecting London, Chatham and Dover together. They did take the top of it off as modern day trains. They were just too heavy for these supports, and they've not removed the supports in fear of upsetting the foundations of the other two. To the left, a lovely photo opportunity there of Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece, and that's the St Paul's Cathedral. It stands at 365 feet tall, a foot for every day of the year. That dome is the second largest unsupported dome anywhere in the world. Now it took 35 years to construct that building, and Sir Christopher Wren himself is buried in the crypt of that church. Now the bridge that we're approaching, this is the Millennium Footbridge. It was opened in the year 2000 at 9 o'clock in the morning by our late Queen, and by 10 o'clock in the morning it was shut by the City of London Police, condemned for being unsafe. So when people started to walk across it, it started to sway violently side to side. People were falling over everywhere, and it quickly earned its nickname here in London as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. The white building to your right with the timber frames and the thatched roof, that's the replica of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. The only building you're going to see here in London today with a thatched roof, because after the Great Fire of London, all thatched roofs were banned. This building here has been made fireproof. Now you can go see live shows in this building. The last time we checked the tickets, they cost £10, which is not bad value for money for live entertainment here in the City of London. So if we do have any Shakespeare fans on board this boat today, I highly recommend going to the Globe Theatre and seeing one of his famous plays being acted out in their traditional fashion. So there's no stage lighting, no microphone like I'm using, also no toilets, and umbrellas, they are banned. Now it is an open air theatre, ladies and gents, so if you had the seated tickets yourselves and the actors, you would get wet. The show doesn't stop, it does continue. And we get this saying, the show must go on. That's where it comes from, at the Globe Theatre. Over to the right, the brown brick building there with the red windows, that's the Anchor Pub. There has been an Anchor Pub on that site since 1615. Shakespeare himself used the attic of these pubs as a changing room. That's when they built that modern structure. Just behind you over there to the right, that was where the original Globe Theatre once stood. The pirate looking ship just in front of the boat and over to your right. A working replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. Sir Francis Drake was the first Englishman to navigate the vessel around the globe. The original done it once, and the replica you're seeing on your right hand side's done it twice. It's even followed the exact same route as the original, and it's going to be restored back to its former glory. On your right hand side now we have the Shard, Western Europe's tallest building, standing at over 1,000 feet tall. A viewing platform on the 72nd floor, the rest is then made up of luxury apartments, bars, restaurants, office space. It's also home to the 5-star Shangri-La Hotel. Now if you'd like to visit the viewing platform on the Shard at the 72nd floor, it's going to cost you about £40 per person, so it can become quite an expensive day at the Shard. So a little cheaper alternative for you all, just over to your left here, you've got a building, thinner at the bottom, wider as it goes to the top with the curved roof. You're going to see the glass panels right to the top of that building. You can see there are some people up there at the moment. That's another observation deck up there, ladies and gents. And that's called the Sky Garden. The building itself is number 20 Fenchurch Street. You take your photo card, ID to that building, and let you straight up to the top. The lovely bar and restaurant up there, there's no time limit for how long you can be up there. And best of all, ladies and gents, it is free of charge. Now to your right we have the warship here, the HMS Belfast, built in the same shipyard as the ill-fated Titanic, the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. This weighs in at 11,500 tonnes and its main armament is 12 6-inch guns. They can fire a 100-weight shell, 14 landmines. First time to Belfast, it fired its guns in angles during D-Day. It's now permanently moored here in London as a floating extension to the Imperial War Museum, and you can go on board and explore all 9 of its decks, going from the engine room all the way up to the captain's bridge. It's also used as a docking and berthing station for when we have ships visiting London, so we do get to see other naval ships, cruise liners, and even billionaires with their super yachts moored up alongside the Belfast while they're here visiting London. Now we are folks, as we turn the boat around now, lovely photo opportunities of Tower Bridge, and that's the only bridge of its kind, being a part suspension, part bascule bridge. What that means is the centre arch is fully raised like a double-sided drawbridge, so that tall ships come into the upper port of London. It's also the only bridge to be registered